Hey Patreon people, it's getting towards the end of August. We're having bizarrely cool mornings. It's really nice out here at the moment. And I know so far I've just kind of given you like a rundown of the main field on the other side of Franny's with all the different things going on. But I thought we'd go a little bit deeper today because most of you probably know I'm a little obsessed with okra. And so this year behind me we have 100 different varieties of okra and or related species, and I think it's kind of fascinating in there. And I know many of you aren't going to be able to come out and see this in person, although all of you are welcome if you're ever in town to you just come and have a look and harvest some okra and all that. But I want to give you all the chance to see some of what we're working on up close. So I'm going to turn the camera around and just give you a quick walk through the okra trial. Okay, so I got 6 rows of okra, 6 plants each of 100 varieties. Not all of them made it, so some of them only got 5, and some of the rarer ones, or the USDA related species, didn't germinate great, so sometimes I've only just got 1 plant. But these first rows that are definitely got a bit jungly, these are mostly heirloom varieties, or the varieties I've been collecting at seed swaps and whatnot. And it's just really fun to grow these out at this scale and see the diversity of what's going on, and start like just we take photographs and we keep notes. And you know, I've got one chef I just spoke to recently, Chef TT here in Asheville, wants to have a stuffing okra for a meal she's got coming up. Ashley Shanti spends a fair bit of time out here, and has harvested a bunch of flowers to do like an okra flower pickle. And you know, it's just fun to have this like presentation of biodiversity within a single crop, which you don't get to see that often because most people just plant one variety. So if you're seeing pink tags, they're ones that I've selfed, so they're my seed saving pods, because obviously we're going to get a lot of cross pollination. Some of the varieties as they get big are just like awesome. Look at that gray, which is pretty exciting. And then as we get to the end of this middle row, got some of the reds that I really like. Some of the flowers are just stunning and edible. And then we go all the way down, and I'm going to bring you into my next row, because the first 4 rows are all these heirloom varieties. But as we go around, then we have 1 row of USDA high oil content varieties. And so what's going on here is we've got about 17 varieties that are high oil, but they're not high enough to be a viable pressing oil. They're about 20%. So we're taking pollen from one and transferring it to another variety in the hope that we can have this kind of like jumping up effect. So like maybe like 1 chromosome on one variety affects that high oil, but then another variety it's a different chromosome. And if you can get those 2 chromosomes into one plant, then you will have more oilseed, you know, affecting chromosomes. And this is, I'm a very amateur plant breeder here, so I probably butchered some of that, but that's the basic idea. Like you have 2 varieties that are highly oil producing, you mash them together and you might get one that's even more higher. I want to show you this one. It's actually one of the high oil varieties, but it's also completely crazy. I'm not convinced this is okra, although it's successfully crossed with some of the other okras. But it's just this real strange, viney, beautiful plant throwing out these crazy pods. And this is actually from the same planting, from the same packet of seeds. It's got like similarities, but it's a very different phenotype. One out of the 6 is doing this much longer production. So all the yellow tags you're seeing with words on them are all my crosses. We started off, so we emasculate in the afternoon, take off all the male pollen producing parts of the plant. Next day we come back and put a pollen from a different variety onto that emasculated flower from the day before. So we've been doing that for the last 2 weeks. We started off with a pretty high fail rate, but we've like dialed in the technique, and actually the last 3 days I've had, 50 to 75% success on my crosses, which is up from about 10% in the beginning. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's interesting to see that some of these don't, like, some of them fail consistently, and I wonder if there's like compatibility issues, if it's like a wide cross between varieties, and some of them take really well. So I've got it all documented, which I'll be sharing if people are interested in seeing a little deeper. And then to finish this little tour up, I have these related species. This is one I've grown before, Abelmoschus manahot, or Korean silk flower. Puts on a beautiful amount of flowers, crazy pod set, really spiny. You wouldn't want to eat these pods, but the leaves are nutritious. The flowers are edible, and it's pretty cool. In here we have Abelmoschus cali, which is known as West African okra. This particular variety came from John Jackson of Comfort Farms in Georgia. And look at these amazing pods, these long pedicles. We've had some of these that are like crazy long. Like, again, chefs are looking at this and going, we could use that like a lollipop okra. So this plant is like being dramatic and beautiful, and slightly different flower, but very okra-like, very closely related to okra. Big, beautiful leaves. So I'm very excited about the cali. We are gonna just go down this last row. Say hello to Sean, who makes the farm look nice. So we have Abelmoschus tetraphilus, which is this one. Beautiful baby flowers that turn to pink as they're pollinated, and then die in a day, just like okra. We have a very cool one down here. Oh, actually, the tetraphilus, I've got 2 varieties with 23% oil content, which is one of the highest I know. And so I've crossed tetraphilus to tetraphilus. Here's one of them that looks as if it's taken. So this could be containing genetics of 2 different high oil producing tetraphiluses and give us something that's greater than the sum of its parts. I definitely want to find this tuberculatus one that I'm excited about, but I've only got one plant and it's kind of hiding. Oh, here it is. Look at this crazy thing. This is one of the wild okras that you find in India, and it's just got this really textured pod. I showed my wife and it gave her the heebie-jeebies, but I think it's super cool. And then we've got Abelmoschus moschatus, we've got the tuberculatus, we've got filcunius, we've got cronitis. And so these are all different Abelmoschus species related to okra that we're just kind of observing and looking. A lot of them are daylight sensitive and not even producing yet, so we may not have success, but a lot of them are doing stuff that's super cool. And that's the okra field.